May the 4th be with you. It is Star Wars Day, so happy Star Wars Day. I got my Poe Dameron body pillow for support. And so I'm going to use this day to write what my version of Star Wars The Force Awakens should have been. And spoiler alert, it's going to be blacker and it's going to be gayer. And while I'm giving my version of the story, I'm going to showcase fan artists who also, like me, believe that Finn and Poe #Stormpilot should have been canon. Now imagine you have this kid taken at a young age and brainwashed to be a stormtrooper. His identity erased, stolen. The only name he knows is FN2187. And as FN2187 gets older and his force abilities slowly start to reveal themselves, which also coincides with him realizing his queer nature emerging as well, he starts to realize something's not right with the First Order. But because he's always felt different, he made sure he was always the best. And this is taken from the Star Wars novels, which is supposed to be canon, which they didn't really adapt into the movies. But FN2187 was one of the best. He was always at the top of his class. But then you get to the movies, they just say, oh, well, he was just a janitor. But no, if you read the book, he was at the top. People loved him. And it's been years since I read the book, but if I remember correctly, even Captain Phasma saw a lot of potential in him. That's why she was so gung-ho and disappointed when he turned. So now, once this stormtrooper turns on the only family that he's ever known, the first person that he meets, the first person that sees him as more than FN2187, who actually gives him a name and identity, is Poe Dameron, who also ends up being the love of his life. Poe introduces him to the Rebel Alliance. He meets Luke and Leia. He trains under Leia to become a Jedi. Poe and Finn come together, get your mind out of the gutter, to help take out the First Order. And because Finn has been with them all his life, he has vital information and workings on how they work. But it's not easy for him. These are people that he's known all his life. Even if they are quote unquote evil, these were his family, his friends. Also goes back to this moment where you had that stormtrooper that yelled, "Traitor!" Imagine that was his best friend, or somebody that he had a crush on or had feelings for and now had to take out. And imagine the level of PTSD that he must have being with the First Order since he was a kid, and the depression that he now has in having to take them out. But it's through the love of Poe and his connection with the Rebel Alliance and them showing him what real love and family and connection actually is, that he's able to become one of the greatest Jedi that ever lived. And in continuing the legacy of Luke Skywalker and training future Jedi, he comes across the granddaughter of Palpatine, Rey, and together they continue to train new Jedi and protect the galaxy, with his boyfriend Poe, of course.